Very well, member for Nairobi County. The Honorable Geoffrey Mwangi, member for Tetu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute. It has been indeed a long wait. But Madam Speaker, before I make my contributions, it's important to bring to your attention that this place has become excessively cold. We are freezing. So maybe, I don't know whether the air conditioning has been increased, but it is not very, very comfortable, especially for those of us who have to wait for a long time to make our contribution. Let me go straight to my point, and first of all to thank the Honorable Geshimo and the Honorable Mule for bringing this motion to the floor of the House. This is indeed very, very important. I do not want to belabor what my colleagues have said in terms of the importance of the Constituency Development Fund. The Honorable Mule yesterday did a fantastic job when he gave us a glowing numbers in terms of the contribution of CDF, construction of classrooms, purchase of buses, giving of bursaries, construction of police stations and dormitories and so on and so forth. I do not wish to repeat all that. But it is important to know that as we sit here, there are thousands of children who are not going to school. And here I'm specifically talking about my constituency, Tetu, because they all depend on bursaries from the CDF kitty or the NG-CDF kitty to be able to pay for their school fees. And so it is important that we note that while these children are not going to school, the children of those who stopped the disbursement of this fund, who are more likely to be in private schools or in international schools, their studies are going on, and it is important that they spare a thought for the poor children of this nation. I know that the Supreme Court and indeed all the lower courts declared this fund unconstitutional based on the 2013 Act. And Madam Speaker, I'm aware of something called the spirit and the letter of the law. The letter of the law, yes, interpreted strictly, may have led to the interpretation that was given by the court. But the spirit of CDF was to help poor Kenyans. It was not for the benefit of MPs, as many people imagine. It was to ensure that children go to school. It was to ensure that we are able, as a country, to be able to meet our goals of especially education. As we speak, Madam Speaker, we are now actively undermining the 100% transition to secondary schools, because many of the children who joined Form 1 and now they have been sent away may not return back to school. We are actively undermining the Sustainable Development Goals, which this country is, subscribes to. Goal number 4 on quality education. So it is very, very important that we have this fund reinstated as soon as possible. And because, Madam Speaker, just like those who have contributed before me have said, that there is no law that stops the Minister for Treasury and National Planning from releasing funds today. So we call upon the Minister to release the funds immediately so that we are able to start returning these children to schools and also to finish the projects that are being done by CDF. Madam Speaker, I now wish to just comment on the amendment as it has been proposed here. And I would suggest that, Madam Speaker, we amend clause or Article 204A, where we have talked about that the CDF or the NG-CDF, which shall be a national fund consisting of monies of an amount of not less than 5% of all national government share of revenue. We change that to read total revenue. This will mean that we'll be working with a proper denominator as far as the calculation of the 5 percentage point is concerned. On Article 204B, Madam Speaker, I propose that the proponents of this motion consider changing Article 1, which reads, there is established the Senate Oversight Fund. And I would propose that it reads, there is established a parliamentary oversight fund, so that this not only covers Senate from an oversight point of view, but also covers the National Assembly. I also suggest that clause 2, all monies allocated under this article shall be considered as funds allocated to the Senate pursuant to Article 206, subsection 2, be changed to read, all articles allocated all monies allocated under this article shall be considered as funds allocated to Parliament pursuant to Article 206(2). And then thereafter, this House can come and enact the necessary legislation to give life to that article. Madam Speaker, Article 204D, where it says that there shall be established the Economic Stimulus and Empowerment Fund, again to ensure that this is anchored in constituencies, which right now are the basic units of development. I propose that this is changed to read that there is established a national government constituency stimulus, economic stimulus fund, and empowerment fund, and that we also ensure that this fund is made to be 1% again of all national revenues. I am happy with the proposals that have been made on the GAF, and I propose that they, go in as has been proposed. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, and as we change this constitution, and remembering that this is the first time that we are amending the constitution of 2010. So this is a historical moment for this House. And I call upon all members, both in the National Assembly and also in the Senate, it is time to close ranks and ensure that we enact these important changes to our constitution so that we can bring life, or we can give life to these funds so that they can be able to help our people. There has been restrictions on the use of the CDF or the NG-CDF. And when it comes to enacting the laws that are going to operationalize these constitutional changes, I would suggest that it is important that we increase the scope of what CDF can do to cover certain aspects of agriculture and water. Because, Madam Speaker, you'll agree with me, if you go to our constituencies, the most visible development projects, and most of them have been restricted to education and security, are NG-CDF projects. Many times when I go to my constituency, I see many opportunities of things I could do around water, around agriculture, especially farmer training, which today our counties are not doing so well. And this is where this country is lagging behind in food security. And because members of parliament are nearer to the constituents, if we can be given power to superintend over certain aspects of agriculture, especially extension services and training, which can also be seen as an extension of education, and certain aspects of water and irrigation, I think this can be, can again catalyze the development of our country, especially from a food security point of view. So, Madam Speaker, I rise to support this motion with all my heart, and I hope that very, very soon we shall have this motion seeing the light of the day, and our first constitutional amendment will be a glorious moment for the children of this country, for the poor and the needy in this country, and for indeed all Kenyans. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Very well, Member for Tetu. The Honorable Martin Owino, Member for Diwa.
Madam Speaker, this opportunity is well appreciated. And allow me to say kudos to my colleagues who have sponsored this legislative